Hey guys, Freedom Now. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law, where we believe in immigration freedom. It is Saturday, December 20th, and this is the latest and or breaking immigration news live session that we're about to have today. So come on in, pull up a chair, and type in Freedom Now, and let me know where you're joining from today. Friends, if you have an immigration problem that you'd like to speak one-on-one with an attorney about, reach out to us at McBean Law. We're here for you guys. Our phone lines are open today, as a matter of fact, on this Saturday until 6 p.m. So give us a call at 914-898-9488. Thank you so much for joining. If you're watching on Facebook, share this live session with your feed. Give us a follow before you go today, and certainly subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notice of these videos each week. On Monday, my next show will be on Monday at 1 o'clock p.m. and it's a special holiday show, so you don't want to miss that live session on Monday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Now let's get into some very important immigration news, guys, and the first of which it has to do with the fact that the Trump administration, from what CBS News is reporting, the Trump administration is looking to extend the pause on applications and petitions pending at USCIS for those 20 additional countries that have been added to the travel ban list. CBS News is reporting that some official at USCIS has shared some information with them that the USCIS has already paused some applications for nationals from those additional countries. Just to refresh your memory, guys, the travel ban started out with 19 countries, okay? 19 countries were on the travel ban. Some were fully banned and others were partially banned. And the partial ban applied to immigrant visas or the green card, visitors and students. All right, it didn't across the partial ban list does not apply to all visa types, okay? That's why it's called a partial ban. And the countries that are on the list, there were 19, and then it was extended to 39 countries, okay? And so here's the list of countries, just to refresh your memory. Some of the new ones include Nigeria, Syria, Senegal, I think might be new. Ivory Coast is new, Zimbabwe, and some others, mainly African countries, some Middle Eastern countries. And so now what this is an entry ban, okay? A ban on individuals trying to come to the United States. And then following the Thanksgiving Day shooting of the two guardsmen, National Guard members, I should say, the government said, we're going to pause processing applications for nationals from these 19 countries, including pausing applications pending at USCIS for those 19 countries. Well, now fast forward to today, from what CBS News is reporting, they're saying that the U.S. government has expanded a sweeping pause on legal immigration applications to include those filed by people from an additional 20 countries that President Trump added to his travel ban proclamation this week. A U.S. official with direct knowledge told CBS News. The move, which mainly affects immigrants who hail from certain African and Asian countries, further escalates a wide-ranging crackdown on legal immigration, right? Expanded by the Trump administration this month. Well, legal immigration, guys, as a side note, has been under attack since January 20th of this year, since the very beginning. So, now, many of those affected by the pause are likely to be legal immigrants who are currently in the United States and are seeking to change their status, or become U.S. citizens. And we're going to talk about citizenship next, actually. And it goes on to say that that earlier in December, the Trump administration directed USCIS to completely freeze all immigration petitions, including requests for American citizenship and permanent residency made by those already in the U.S. who are nationals of the 19 countries that have been banned or restricted. And now it's they're being told, it's being reported by CBS News that now the pause will extend to these additional countries, the new countries that have been added to the list. There's another page here that I'm going to pull up from the article. A U.S. official who requested anonymity to discuss internal changes that have not been formally announced told CBS News on Thursday that USCIS has expanded its suspension of immigration cases to include the new nationalities added to Mr. Trump's proclamation on Tuesday. Okay, so guys, this is upsetting, of course, right? Upsetting because the entry into the United States or the travel ban, um, that that should not be linked, certainly, to people here in the United States who are eligible for citizenship or a green card, and they're having their cases processed by USCIS. So again, this is going to be strongly challenged, and one on a on an individual basis, you can challenge the government, certainly through a mandamus lawsuit, suing them to move forward on the promise, okay? That the promise that they're going to process your case if you provide to them a filing fee, right? And you showed them that you're eligible for it. Their promise to you is, okay, we're going to give real consideration to your case. So this is the latest. And along these lines, Edlow, who is the director, Joseph Edlow, the director of USCIS, posted on X that this statement: under President Trump and Secretary Noem's decisive leadership, USCIS is ensuring all aliens from high-risk countries are vetted and screened to the maximum degree possible. The safety and security of the American people always comes first. USCIS is conducting a comprehensive review of anyone from anywhere who poses a threat to the U.S., including those identified in the president's latest proclamation to restore law and order in our nation's immigration system. And this is something that he posted a couple of days ago. So guys, let's again get aggressive, okay? Do not lose heart, do not panic, be aggressive. And for some of you, you're going to have to sue the government in order for them to fulfill its promise to you to process your case. The second issue, guys, has to do with denaturalization and stripping citizenship from U.S. citizens. The New York Times has reported that USCIS, at the heart of all of these changes, is USCIS caught in the middle of all of this. USCIS has been directed to refer 100 to 200 denaturalization cases per month during this fiscal year of 2026. The government's fiscal year started October 1st, 2025. For the 2026 fiscal year, it started. So during this fiscal year for the government, they'd like to ramp up denaturalization referrals to the Department of Justice's Civil Division, their Office of Immigration Litigation, which is an astronomical increase, so to speak, because since 2017, they've only processed 120 cases, okay? Since 2017, only 120 cases have been considered or investigated by this denaturalization unit. So you might be saying, well, how in the world will USCIS be able to find these cases of individuals who should be considered for denaturalization because maybe they committed fraud during naturalization or something else was triggered that could potentially have them denaturalized? Guys, it takes investigation. Okay, it takes the ability to investigate because, as you guys know, naturalized citizens are off living their life. 26 million. 26 million naturalized citizens are in the United States just living their life. Some are here in the US, some are outside of the US. So, what is it going to? It's not as if they have an appointment coming up to USCIS, right? That would then trigger USCIS to um, look at them. This requires investigation and looking back in time, of course. And they started a similar process during the Obama years, okay? They started this process of looking at cases that the government knew at that time of individuals who should not have become citizens. They had uncovered quite a number, not that large, but they had uncovered a number of people, but then yet they were very slow to denaturalize them. And when President Trump came into office during the first term, they continued those operations. But again, guys, since 2017, they were only able to handle 120 cases. To denaturalize people, as I've been talking about in other YouTube videos, it requires a very high burden that the government has to meet. It's a very challenging process. On the civil side, they've expanded the criteria of individuals who they will be considering, including those who commit financial crimes against the United States, and some very big catch-all categories to basically catch just about anyone who they just decide that they're going to target. So this effort now to refer 100 to 200 cases each month to the Department of Justice is quite a Herculean effort. Anything's possible, of course. Yes, anything is possible, but we have to consider the fact that it will require a great deal of investigative power and a lot of strength on the attorney side. And as I've explained to you guys weeks ago, an insider who used to be in that denaturalization unit, that unit at the Department of Justice, said that in a meeting that they don't have the power on the attorney side quite yet to do this because a lot of people left. A lot of the attorneys who had the skill and the experience to do these types of cases, they're gone. They're not there any longer. So let's see how things go, of course, but just be aware that USCIS will be doing a lot of investigative work, which means that your cases most likely will be slowed down, as well as our cases. Any case before them will be slowed down because of all of these efforts that they've been charged with. All right, guys, come on in, type in freedom now. I see that folks have been asking about our phone number. It is scrolling on the screen. The phone number is 914-898-9488, or you could just go to McBeanlaw.com where you'll find all of our information. Come on in, type in freedom now, freedom now. The third big news, friends, has to do with the diversity visa program. It is suspended. The Trump administration has suspended this. This is really no surprise. I think they were dragging their feet for quite a while now to even open things up for the lottery, for this upcoming lottery, dragging their feet. They hated this program from day one. It's just not favorable by them. And so now they have a very, they're pointing to the horrific tragedy that happened at Brown University, guys. Brown University, by a green card holder who had gotten his green card through the diversity visa lottery, a man from Portugal, okay, Europe, who won the lottery in 2017, I believe. He came in as an F1 student, and then years later, he did win the lottery and became a resident, and he murdered people at Brown University as well as a professor at MIT. And so the government has shut down this program on the executive side, which, by the way, the executive branch doesn't have the legal authority, okay, to do this. But they have put it out there that they're not going to allow anyone in the country through this diversity visa lottery program. Just want to read a message here from Secretary Noem about this. She says here in her post on X that the Brown University shooter, Claudio Valente, entered the United States through the Diversity Lottery Immigrant Visa Program in 2017 and was granted a green card. This heinous individual should never have been allowed in our country. And then she talked about the fact that President Trump fought to end the program during his first term. He was unsuccessful with doing so then. At President Trump's direction, I am immediately directing USCIS to pause the DV1 program to ensure no more Americans are harmed by this disastrous program. Marijuana is on my list. I see that someone is asking about that. It's on my list. I'm going to talk about marijuana shortly. Okay, so there you have it. Litigation is already started to challenge this decision because this diversity visa lottery program can only be suspended by Congress because it was their idea. It's their idea. It's their statutory scheme. They set this up. So Congress, which is not functioning right now, we do not have a functioning legislature. Congress has to do this, guys. So I'll keep you posted with respect to the litigation regarding this. Now, I have a few other things to discuss with you. I guess this is the fourth news, and it has to do with the fact that the first military immigration judge has been fired. He's only been on the job since October, and he's a JAG, I believe a JAG attorney, of course. He was serving on the bench in Virginia, and apparently he is too lenient because he had 11 cases or decisions that he made. 6 of them were favorable to the immigrant. He granted asylum and other relief. And so apparently this early track record of his is not something the administration was really hoping to achieve when they placed him in this position. So he's been fired. I'm sure maybe there's more to it than, his asylum approval rate, which it seemed to be a little high, I guess, for the administration. But what I really want to share with you is something that one of my colleagues and I were talking about a couple of days, and it's the fact that although these military judges, temporary judges, are deciding and hearing these immigration cases around the country, some of them are not really doing a bad job, guys. Okay. Some of them are being very fair. They're fair. Some of them are fair because they don't want to lose their license. They don't want to get in trouble. They're not about to work to take on this assignment and just do the wrong thing. They're not doing that, guys. Yes, they are actually issuing removal orders at a slightly higher pace or rate than everyone else, but they are not like way out there yet, from what I'm hearing through the grapevine. Okay, so we're watching that. Okay, these military immigration judges, some of them are being fair, and of course, doing their homework to learn about the facts and the law, I should say, that is in front of them. So, but the first one has been fired because apparently he might be too lenient. The other news, guys, is this, that the Wisconsin judge, Hannah Dugan, that's how I pronounce her last name, okay? And I'm okay with that. Um, she was convicted, guys. She was found guilty of obstructing justice because of you remember several months ago the video of that the immigrant who was allowed, I think she was the one, I don't know, I don't remember exactly on the video how it happened, but the allegations basically said that she, when she knew that ICE was in the hallway looking for this guy, she allowed him to leave through a back door. And then there was a little chase and he was eventually caught. But um, she was found guilty this week. Okay. And of course, she's going to continue her fight. But this is interesting. Because she's the first judge during this Trump administration to have such a serious charge against her and be found guilty for obstructing justice. Guys, freedom now, freedom now. Lastly, marijuana. And I saw the question come in about marijuana. I really wanted to talk with you briefly about marijuana. You guys might have heard the news that this week President Trump signed an executive order that reclassified marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug controlled substance to a Schedule 3, right? And certainly the motivation behind that has to do with the lobby of the medical marijuana lobby. There's a lot of money with respect to marijuana research and development and all of that. A whole lot of money. So for financial reasons, he put out this executive order. Now, it does not mean that any change has occurred on the criminal side. It does not mean that marijuana has been decriminalized. And it also certainly doesn't mean that immigration sees marijuana any differently than how it did before he signed this executive order. As a matter of fact, marijuana has always been a tool that policymakers use to crack down on Black communities. I don't think they're quite ready to take that power away quite yet, okay, in my opinion. But they have not changed anything on the criminal side, guys. The federal government still sees marijuana as a big problem, and it is a crime to possess it. It's a crime to sell it. It's a crime. All right. And so the criminal side of marijuana has not changed, and the immigration side of marijuana has not changed. If you are a habitual smoker and the USCIS or the U.S. Embassy finds out about your habit, well, they will not approve your case. If you have a marijuana possession conviction on your record, they will still view that as a problem unless you qualify for the waiver 30 grams or less, single possession, right? So those laws are still there. So don't think, oh my goodness, this is great. Marijuana is now Schedule 3. Phew, just like Tylenol, right? With codeine in it, I think, right? Just, oh, it's not that big of a deal anymore. It still is a big deal on the criminal side and on the immigration side. And with that, I am done with immigration news for 2025. Woohoo! No, I'm just kidding. You know that if anything happens over the next week and a half, I will be back before you, but I'll just probably be on social media with very short reels. And so follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at McBean Immigration Law, just so that you don't miss anything, okay? So, guys, I'm happy to answer a few questions that you have before I go today. Thank you. If you're just joining today's um, show, watch the replay for my update about really important things like denaturalization, pause in immigration applications, and all of the other good stuff that I covered earlier. All right, let's see if I could answer a few of your questions today. Thank you. Thank you. Come on in. And also, guys, share this live session with your feed. If you're joining today, someone is asking if we could work on their I-94. Maybe it depends on what the issue is. We absolutely work on extensions of stay and such. Hey there, Georgia. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being with me today. Guys, this is the big Saturday before Christmas, okay? And I know a lot of people are out shopping. I appreciate you being with me today, taking the time to be here to listen to this news, share information with your feed. Bridget, this is live and it is good to see you. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Freedom Now. Um, let's see. My naturalization is coming up in the next 6 months. I'm concerned because I'm originally from one of the banned countries. What should I do? My history is clean. What I think that you should do is certainly watch and listen for any injunction, possible injunction that could we're looking for that could be issued to address the pause that USCIS is placing on your applications. Okay, thank you. And if you already have an application in process and you know that you have a good case and a winning chance, we'll certainly consider filing a mandamus to force the government to fulfill its promise to you. Okay, let's see. Um, is it true that your children can file for you as soon as that child swears in? It is true that once your child becomes a U.S. citizen and gets that naturalization certificate in her hand, she could absolutely submit an I-130 petition for her mom or her dad. Okay. Thank you, guys. Hey there, Frederick. He says, good job. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's go, guys. Are approved EB2 national interest waivers, not applications going to be stopped for countries with partial travel ban, given that it's in the national interest waiver category. Well, immigrant visa is part of the ban, and you have a burden of showing that whatever your endeavor is, that it certainly is in our national interest. Okay. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, Avril. Merry Christmas. That's right. We're not afraid to say that. Merry Christmas. All right, let's go. It is Christmas time. All right, thank you. If I have an approved I-130 petition, how long will it take until the I-45 be approved? So it just depends on where the case is being processed, and certainly on whether you're going to be called in for an interview regarding your I-45. Um, should I be worried if my green card hasn't showed up yet, 5 weeks after the interview? No, do not worry. Do not worry. Give it a little bit more time, a few more months before you really consider the fact that maybe something isn't quite right. And then you could definitely reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk with you about things, okay? Let's see. Let's go down a little bit. Let's go down a little bit. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Someone is... I'm a PhD student from Nigeria. Would I still be able to renew my visa in Nigeria on January 5th? Now that Nigeria is included in the list, I don't think they're going to approve it, but maybe in the national interest, if you could put up that kind of argument, because the travel ban is January 1st, right, guys? That's when it goes into effect? You guys who watch me and listen to every word that I've said, you probably know this, January 1st. Am I correct about that? Can you please tell me your office address? Our office address, so we're located in White Plains, New York. You can find our address on our website at McBeanlaw.com. It's right there. Thank you. Green card holders are not banned, okay? The travel ban specifically said that it excludes green card holders. So green card holders should not be worried about this. Thank you. Let's go down. Freedom now. I'm from one of the full ban countries. Um, and my 10-year green card will expire soon. What should I do? I think you should still renew your green card, okay? Still renew your green card. Your green card holders have the rights and privileges that are still there. Rights and privileges have not changed. Let's go down a little bit. Someone is asking what would lead someone to be denaturalized. Patrick, I have several videos and a playlist here on McBean Immigration TV. I recommend that you go to that playlist called Denaturalization. I think that's what I've called it, and watch some of those videos. But essentially, the government, it could happen in a number of ways. Primarily, one of the easy ways certainly is you got it through fraud or misrepresentation. Okay. And that also includes omitting something that is material, super important to the decision that was made to grant you your citizenship, but you withheld that information from the government. So those are that's really the primary reason. Historically, it has been, people withholding significant information from the government, like they're a war criminal, or they were in the military in their country and they were a persecutor. They persecuted other people. Like, those are real significant facts that our government historically used to investigate and loved uncovering. War criminals, right? They loved those types of cases. So now they're expanding their scope of things based on a memo that the Justice Department issued a few months ago under the Civil Division, saying denaturalization is a top priority to the Department of Justice now. So they have a long list of different categories that they're now looking at, but still the crux of it has to really fall into one of those categories that fall into the fact that the person procured naturalization unlawfully. Maybe you weren't even eligible for it to begin with, or there's this misrepresentation that occurred in procuring it. There's more to it than that. I watch those videos of mine on my denaturalization playlist. Thank you, guys. Freedom now, freedom now. Do you have to do a second interview when removing conditions from your green card? So during the I-751 removal of conditions process, it's not uncommon for the government to call you in for an interview. So that, I guess, would be considered your second interview, right? Yes. So for some people, they're getting those types of interviews. For others, they still waive them, guys. But for a lot of others, they're calling you in. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Thank you, guys. Don't let all of this rob you of your holiday joy. It's Christmas, guys. It is Christmas, and you've got to lean into the joy and the peace and the rest of this season, okay? Monday will be a special show, special holiday show at 1:00 p.m. So join me on Monday for a real peaceful time together as we look to wrap up the new year together, okay? Someone says, Miss McBean, if I'm interested in working with you, do I need to pay the consultation fee first? Yes, to book the time on our calendar to meet with me or any of my colleagues. We do charge a consultation fee. Let's see. Freedom Now, Anne Marie, good to see you. Do we have to worry about N400 interview date cancellation? Yes, they've been canceling some of these naturalization interviews for people from these the banned countries. Let's go down. Thank you very much. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. Let's go over here. Thank you for the super chat, the $1. I earned $1. Yay. Do we have an office in Minnesota? No, we do not, but we do work with clients there. We work with clients in all 50 states and in many different countries. as far as, Philippines and South Africa. And just, it's amazing to be able to work with people all over the world. What a privilege. Thank you for trusting us. Let's see. Go down a little bit. Daisy says, if during green card interview someone sent, okay, here we go. If someone sent a letter to USCIS claiming that she was part of a marriage fraud scenario, but it wasn't true, and then she was subsequently granted her green card and US citizenship, will they revisit the file and send a letter? Great question, because there are people out there who do bad things like that, right? They send these letters that aren't true to immigration. So it looks like certainly in this situation, the government had already looked into the allegations regarding marriage fraud and made a determination that it wasn't true, that it was just not there. And when you do citizenship, as in this case, the government went even deeper to determine, did they make a mistake to begin with when they granted you your green card? And they concluded, nope, there was no mistake there. And they granted you US citizenship. So there was no material misrepresentation on your part. And if they do try to investigate it, that's what they're going to find. And then they're going to say, oh, we wasted our time here. Okay, just to meet a quota. Remember, they also have a 3,000 arrest day quota, which they are also having a very difficult time meeting. Just because they throw out these random quotas, it doesn't mean that they could actually achieve the goal, because again, here you're talking about investigative power that and muscle that really they're going to need to build up here to, and not just from an AI standpoint, because AI can't really tell you, the facts, whether the burden has been met to denaturalize a person. No, it takes a brain, it takes someone thinking, it takes a lawyer who has experience in that area to say, there's something there, let's investigate this particular case. Let's see. How does Congress allow this? Coco, it's because we don't have a Congress. We do not have a Congress. They have abdicated. They just shifted their responsibility. Um, they've just shifted it to the executive branch, and to the judiciary, and they just don't want to. They're sitting this one out. They're on the sidelines. They're a huge failure on both sides. There's no excuse. Legislators are just failing us left and right. There's no hope for Congress at this time. There really isn't. Just the judiciary. We're only hanging on because of the judiciary. Let's keep going. We need, and oh, okay. On the optimistic side, we're expecting that Congress will begin working after the midterm elections. Okay, after the midterm elections, Congress will be back in session, and hopefully, we'll do some meaningful work there. Let's see. Let's go down. I'm going to answer one or two more questions, because I really have a lot to do after this. Okay. Would naturalization be an issue if someone had a medical marijuana card in the past and a clean background federally and with the state? You can make an argument. You can make an argument, certainly, that it was for medical purposes. It's a tricky argument still to be made. Yes, we now have this executive order saying that for medical research purposes and such, it's okay for marijuana now to be considered a Schedule 3 drug versus Schedule 1. I'm not so sure yet how this policy change or consideration is going to intersect with an argument like on your side here for naturalization. You could speak one-on-one with an attorney about that. I've never had to make that argument regarding medical marijuana. So, get your consultations with different attorneys, particularly one who has experience in that area, who could properly advise you. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Is the I-90, so let's see. The I-90, is that one? I think it's on one of those lists. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Because this doesn't apply to green card holders, but from the standpoint of entry into the United States, the travel ban, but the pause affects everything that's on the table right now, including naturalization applications, I-90, all of them, I-130. It applies to all of these applications. If you're a national from one of those affected countries and you're here inside of the United States, that's who the pause applies to. But as far as entering the United States, the travel ban, the entry ban, green card holders are not impacted by the entry ban, but they are impacted by the pause internally here in the United States of their applications at USCIS at this time. Okay, but again, you could push back by filing a mandamus. Does that make sense? It's a little confusing because there are two things going on at the same time. There's the entry ban, which has been expanded to 39 countries, and then you have the pause on applications before USCIS that's happening here, and it impacts like everyone from those countries who have an application pending before USCIS. Let's see. Why did USCIS ask a 10-year approved green card holder to remove conditions by filing the I-751? USCIS, if it did that, made a big mistake, and you should have a lawyer address that problem because you already have your conditions removed. You're already a 10-year green card holder, so there's no reason for them to ask you to do that unless somehow they made a mistake. Did they make a mistake by issuing you a 10-year green card before you had reached 2 years of marriage? Because mistakes do happen. And if they made that kind of mistake and they caught it, well, then you could get a letter like that, which is like, wait, what? All right. So definitely work with an immigration lawyer to solve that problem. Um, Someone says, thank you, Charmaine, for sharing this. If you have any good news, let's go with some good news, okay? I got my green card this August after I was denied because of not updating my change of address, but I refiled and got through. Freedom now. Freedom now. Anyone who uses the phrase, got through, I got through, right? You got through, Charmaine. Good for you. That's good. I like that. Thank you for sharing that good news story. Sometimes you have to be persistent with immigration just because you had gotten a no or something crazy happened. Just keep going. Do we have an office in Chicago? We only have one office, okay, at this time. And it's in White Plains, New York, but we work virtually with clients nationwide. Let's see. Okay. Let's go down. Let's go down. Let's see if I could pull this out of my brain here and remember. So I'm looking at someone's question here. Yeah, the ban is looking at, yeah, it's looking at your nationality. No, I'm sorry. So, okay, so here's the thing. With respect to coming into the United States, dual nationals, if you're traveling on the non-ban passport, you could come in. However, if you're here in the United States and you're a national, you were born in one of those banned countries and you have an application at USCIS, they have paused it based on your country of nationality or birth. Okay, despite the fact that you might have entered the United States on a non-banned passport. All right. Let's see. My I-360 was approved in June. Congratulations. And I'm filing my I-45. Should I be worried? Nope. Do your thing. File your case. I don't know anything more about you. Hopefully you don't have a criminal record, but if you do, speak with an attorney to see how that criminal record could come up during your filing of the green card. Can a child who got a green card through the juvenile program file for citizenship for the mother? No, that's one of the big drawbacks. But the child needs her green card or his green card, so they do it. They should do it. But that child, unfortunately, cannot turn around and sponsor or file for the parent. As you know, 400 interview dates are being canceled for those banned countries, but my country is not on the ban list. Should I just patiently wait for the rescheduled date, or do I have to worry? I don't worry too much. You've been hearing me and maybe others say that immigration is going to slow down, and you heard USCIS say that as well, because they're focusing so much on asylum cases, and then they're looking at those 19, now 39, apparently, countries re-reviewed. They're doing these comprehensive reviews and this and that. Like, their attention is so like pulled in different places right now. And now they're talking about revving up denaturalization referrals to the Department of Justice. So that, there's so much going on there. So it's hurting other people right now. In your case, sounds like it could very well be one of them. Daisy, I think you'll be okay. All right. Don't worry about that. And your hair looks fabulous in that photo. By the way, caught my attention. Let's go. Lots of the laws were put in place by the Democrats. I've never counted. I don't know. I don't know who did what versus who did. I do know that both sides are to be blamed for the problems that we have with immigration today. How long can this travel ban last? It can last as long as the justification remains in place, right? So long as the justification is strong enough to hold up in court and before the U.S. Supreme Court, and the court has not been very favorable to immigrants this year. The court has been a big disappointment in many ways, I would say, especially on the racial profiling side of things with ICE. In any event, everything is being challenged, of course, and so we'll see if the strength is there on this expanded travel ban list, whether the strength is really there to justify keeping it going. All right. Hello, big fan. Thank you, Dorji. Thank you for being here. Let's see. I've already discussed Nigeria and NIW. I've already discussed that one. You can go back and watch the replay, please. My contact information, it's scrolling. It's 914-898-9488, or go to McBeanlaw.com. Does the pause affect countries on the partial ban list? That's what CBS News is reporting out. They have their source from inside USCIS that fed them with some information, and then information to suggest that the 20 additional countries that have been added to the list, and those include the partial ban, countries, are that their applications are not being worked on by USCIS, that they've been paused. According to CBS News, we're still waiting, certainly, for an official announcement by USCIS, by DHS about all of this, and it has not come out yet. I haven't seen it. Let's see. I have my kids I-130 approved. Should I go ahead and submit documents to the NVC? My children are in a partially banned country. Yeah, because your case is at the visa center, I think it's perfectly fine to keep that process moving as far as the government would allow you to go. It's just that if the ban is still in effect by the time the children's cases go before the U.S. Embassy for an interview, the embassy won't issue that visa to them at that time. But definitely move that consular case forward. Let's see. Let's see. Check the visa. By the way, the January visa bulletin is out. Take a look at the January 2026 visa bulletin to see about advancements that were made in the categories if you're in a preference category on the family and employment side. Which countries are banned? The countries that are banned are these, okay? Might be too small for you to see, but you could certainly do a screenshot, okay? Do your screenshot and then zoom in, and you'll see the list of countries. We also have it on our website. We published a blog a few days ago about the travel ban, and in our blog on McBeanlaw.com's website, you'll see a list of all of these countries that are on the full entry list, full ban list, and those that are partially restricted. Freedom Now. Let's be nice in the comments. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. I just got my U.S. immigrant visa. Can I still work on the cruise ship? When you get that visa, by the way, you just got it. You have to, you need to get your green card. Okay. First of all, you need to enter the United States within 6 months of getting that. Enter, and then you can take on whatever job you decide that you're going to take on. You have your domicile, your residence here in the United States. That's what matters. You're not abandoning your residency or anything like that. Guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you so much for being with me. I shared some very important immigration news earlier. Please watch the beginning. Denaturalization, the government is trying to ramp it up. Watch my videos on denaturalization on McBean Immigration TV. Also, the CBS News is reporting that all 39 travel ban countries, the applications that are pending at USCIS are now, according to their source, pause, that the government is not fully adjudicating those applications, but you could file your mandamus still. If your case is being unfairly held up during this time, they're most likely, I'm waiting on the bigger litigation to occur. I'm really hoping that there will be an injunction very soon on all of this. The diversity visa lottery program has been illegally suspended by the executive branch. And so let's wait for litigation regarding that as well. Friends, thanks so much for being with me. Join me on Monday. Join me on Monday, please. At 1 o'clock, we're going to have our holiday show on Monday, and you don't want to miss it. We're going to have a real special time together. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you on Monday. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.